In this video, we'll talk through three profiles specifically. Number one, somebody who is working for Government of India. Number two, a software engineer. And number three, somebody who is helping out their family in their family business. And taking these three profiles to understand how to write career goals essay. This career goals essay is one of the most important essays in the entire MBA application pack because it tells the admissions officer what your immediate next steps are going to be post MBA and is that possible through the college that you are planning to apply for. Now, what are the different questions that are asked? Well, INSEAD asked this question directly. What are your post MBA short-term and long-term goals? Kellogg asks it little differently. They said, what path are you interested in pursuing and how will you get there and why is this program right for you? And Columbia MBA is asking this question even in a little more differential way. What is your immediate post-MBA professional goal? Through your resume and recommendations, we have a clear sense of your professional path to date. However, what are your career goals over the next 3 to 5 years and what in your imagination would be your long-term dream job? Now you can see the wordings are different, the prompts are different, but end of the day, the understanding that the admission officer is seeking from you is the same. What do you want to do post your MBA, both short term and long term? Now, in this video, we'll talk through how to write this particular question and we'll divide this entire conversation into three parts. Number one, what is your short term goal? Number two, how do you even start writing this essay? Number three, what is your long term goal and how can you tell your entire story through these short term and long term goals together? Now, before we jump in, it has to be clear that most of the professionals get into 5 to 6 different job types post their MBA. Number one is management consulting. Number two, investment banking. Number three, venture capital and private equity firms. Number four, technology companies. Number five is sales and marketing. Number six is entrepreneurship / family business. It could be either of them. Now, these are the 6 typical roles that folks get into. Almost 80 to 90% of the folks get into these roles post their entire MBA. However, when you have to write your short-term goals, that is where the struggle starts. So let's get started with the first point. How can you write your short-term goal? Taking these 3 profiles as an example. The first one, if you are working for Government of India and you worked in the rural electrification scheme, let's say you can directly say, I'm looking forward to get into one of these 6 roles. I want to be an investment banker or a management consultant. But you do not have any kind of experience in investment banking or even anything in finance sector. So why should you write that? And even if you write it, why would the admissions officer believe that you will get that job? So it is better for you to leverage your past experience and say that I have some relevant experience and hence this job suits me. In this scenario, it could be, hey, I have some kind of experience in rural electrification schemes and strategies. So I know how to create on the ground impact both at a societal level and also at an environmental level. So I would rather want to apply into the management consulting roles, but specifically in the impact domains. So the social sector consulting is what I prefer in this particular company, in this particular office. So the more and more specific you get with your short-term goal, it would be as much believable because you are connecting it with your past, and that's how you can be actually very specific. If you take the second example, that is software engineer, well, you can say, hey, I have a lot of technology experience, so I want to be a product manager. Let's take a different example and see if you can link software engineering with investment banking. Definitely. If you are a software engineer at a bank, for example, you can say, hey, I have gathered a lot of experiences and understand the domain as well. And now I'm interested in jumping into the managerial roles within the banking side. So it is possible, but you need to make sure what is that bridge, what is that common linking point in your personal profile. If you are in the family business, you can definitely say, hey, I am into consumer goods. We sell consumer goods as a family business. And now I want to jump into a consumer goods company and I want to get into the sales and marketing roles, because I want to expand my business in the long run in the other geographies. So that's go-to-market strategy. So you can see that the short-term goal is not about what you write. It is about how well you can link it with your past experiences. Because end of the day, everybody is talking about one of these 7 roles. The second point is then how do you start structuring and how do you start even writing this essay? If somebody is coming to ask you, hey, what is your favorite movie? You cannot say that I have always loved horror movies and in the last 20 years I have seen so many horror movies and these are my top 5 horror movies. No, you don't need to say all these things. The question is straightforward. What is your short-term goal? You just need to be as direct as possible. You can say, my short-term goal is to be an impact consultant at McKinsey London office or McKinsey New York office or some other office, or you can say impact consultant at MBBs, right? McKinsey, BCG, Bain. The more specific you get, it has to come out in the first line itself. You just need not beat around the bush. The third thing is about the long-term goals. Well, here you have a lot more flexibility. You can write about entrepreneurship. You can write about, hey, I want to be that senior leader within the impact consulting space. I want to understand all the strategies. I want to understand what are the on-ground problems in execution, and a few years down the lane, I want to be that strategic advisor to government of India, to the government of US, to the government of Vietnam, whatever it might be. So you are saying that I'm using my prior experience before MBA and I'm getting my short-term job, and I'm leveraging my short-term experience and also my MBA experience to go on to do something different in the long term. And that long-term goal is definitely connected with this short-term goal as well. That is the most important thing, and this is where majority of the people fail. They just don't connect these dots. Short-term goal is independent, long-term goal is independent, and the work before even MBA is independent, and none of these three things are connected, and that is where they falter. I hope you get the point that it is not just about the goal, it is about how well you can link these different pieces. And that is where you need to keep iterating on your essays. If you have any specific questions on, hey, how you can link up your story, feel free to go ahead, ask me in the comments box, and I will try to share my opinions on a few of these things. You need to start thinking and you need to see what is the angle that works for you, which is very realistic and also something that you are very convinced about, because you need to take these things and you need to speak about them in your interviews. So the interviewer will ask you these questions and you cannot say that, hey, Pavan told me to write these things. It doesn't work like that. You need to be convinced about what you want to write. Or you cannot say, my admissions consultant asked me to write that. Hence, be convinced about what you are writing. And this is where the difficulty lies. I'm giving you a link in the description box about an MBA fellowship program that I personally run, and in this program I take small groups of 5 people and give them advice on their personal profile and how to come up with these essay answers. This is in groups of 5, and hence I can cut down on the cost, and I don't get into recommending or writing personal essays for anybody, but I help you connect the dots, which is even more important in my opinion. Please do check out the link in the description box, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me. I'll give you the email address where you can reach out to me as well. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any more essays where you want me to go deep dive into, do let me know and I'll do that in one of the next videos. Thank you. See you again. Take care. Bye bye.